でも僕のサポート当番って今はベータだよ。
厄介なことになっているわね。
パッとしない学生ならちょうどいい。
寄宿。王女誘拐は教団の手のものよ。
Last time on the Eminence in Shadow, our main character Sid was isekai'd into a fantasy world. From there, despite being the strongest, he decided to hide as a side character and bide his time in order to become even more powerful. At the start of episode 4, Alexia wakes up, finding herself shackled in a cell. Next to her, she sees a humanoid monster imprisoned. A man soon arrives, excited about obtaining royal blood. Alexia ponders why he desires her blood, and he explains it's demon blood that he needs to resurrect a demon. In the meantime, Sid is undergoing brutal interrogation regarding the princess's whereabouts. Embracing his role as a classic minor character, Sid yells and cries, pretending not to know anything to avoid being upstaged. Zenon meets with Iris, confessing his guilt for Alexia's kidnapping. Iris questions if Sid could be responsible, but Zenon points out the evidence against him and his belief in Sid's innocence. Given that 5 days have passed, Iris decides to release Sid, but orders they keep him under surveillance. Outside the building, Claire intends to confront the knights and clear Sid's name. However, students discourage her, warning her not to complicate the situation, but Claire remains determined and refuses to listen. In response, Rose takes action, using force to control the situation. Upon Sid's release, he heads home where Alpha pays him a visit. She updates him on the organization's growth and the increasing information they have gathered on the cult. Sid reflects on the girls' visits, observing that they are living normal lives, but he's pleased that they still visit him and play his game. Alpha informs Sid that Alexia has been kidnapped by the cult due to her blood and they are investigating it. She asks if he wants her to eliminate those who interrogated him, but Sid declines, explaining that they were just doing their job. Before departing, Alpha informs Sid that Delta has arrived and is eager to see him. Despite her anger towards the knights who hurt Sid, Rose restrains Claire, leading her back to her room. Sid sets his Eminence in the Shadow Room and prepares for the upcoming events by indulging in a fine wine and admiring the paintings and antiques around him. Soon after, Beta arrives with exciting news. Alpha has ordered all available personnel in the capital, a total of 114 people, to launch simultaneous attacks on all sect hideouts. Sid interrupts Beta's explanation of the girl's roles and hands her a letter, informing her that he will be taking Delta's place. As Sid departs, 2 knights, who previously interrogated him, wait to frame and kill him. However, Sid swiftly eliminates the 2 knights and drops their bodies. The Shadow Garden launches their attack as the doctor rushes to Alexia, warning her that they are coming. The man is confident in his prototype and injects the disfigured creature, which transforms into a larger and stronger monster. To Alexia's surprise, the monster frees her by cutting her chains and killing the man. As Alexia searches for an escape, she runs into Zenon. He reveals that the facility belongs to him, and he was financing the doctor. Excited, Alexia finally understands that Zenon isn't quite right in the head. He goes on to explain that with her blood and his research, he is assured the 12th seat in the prestigious Knights of the Rounds. But Alexia doesn't take this lying down. She attacks Zenon, but he quickly disarms her, demonstrating his superiority. Just then, Sid enters and introduces himself as Shadow. Wow, it seems like our main character has a new alias. Now, before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. What's the most OP anime power? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. And now, back to the recap. As Shadow faces Zenon, the 12th seat of rounds, he recognizes Shadow as the one who has been targeting the cult's bases. Despite Shadow's reputation as a coward, he stands firmly between Zenon and Alexia, taunting him and questioning the presence of the core member. Iris, meanwhile, encounters a monster above ground and joins the knights in attempting to defeat it. Despite their efforts, the monster heals from each attack. Determined, Iris takes a more serious approach and cuts the monster's arms into small pieces, preventing regeneration. However, Alpha intervenes, revealing the monster's true identity as Milia, the daughter of Greece. Alpha tells Iris that Shadow Garden will handle the situation and she should stay back. Alpha then cures the monster, returning her to her human form. Zenon, determined to prove himself, amps up his magical abilities, but Shadow easily overpowers him. Frustrated, Zenon takes some red pills, claiming they will awaken a new, more powerful nature. He transforms into the third awakened, but Shadow still effortlessly blocks his attacks. Amazed, Alexia watches as Shadow explains that true almightiness can only be achieved by becoming the source of power, not relying on borrowed strength. As Zenon continues to attack, Shadow sets a powerful magic circle around him and reveals that he is part of the Shadow Garden, hunting in the shadows. Finally, Shadow uses his ultimate power, I Am Atomic, causing a massive explosion that creates a large crater in the city. Alexia emerges unscathed, picking up a sword and practicing her fencing. Iris arrives, embracing Alexia and expressing her relief that she is alive. Alexia returns to school and informs Sid of Zenon's death. She expresses her gratitude for his support in fencing and wonders if their relationship will continue. But Sid declines, causing Alexia to attack him. The incident becomes known as the Bodiless Murder, one of the school's 7 mysteries. The Shadow Garden girls are enthusiastic about Shadow's power, but Alpha uncovers evidence of a fake group claiming to be from Shadow Garden, delivering justice. Despite efforts to cover their attacks, Gamma is confident they will be caught. Iris learns about the cult in Shadow Garden, leading her to distrust the Knight's Order. She teams up with Glenn and Marco to form a new investigation team and seeks someone to decipher a mysterious item they have found. While carrying books, Sherry Barnett runs into Sid, who is covered in blood from Alexia's attack. At the start of episode 6, Skell and Poe question Sid about his relationship with Alexia, but they are disappointed to hear that they have broken up. Skell suggests they visit a place that sells chocolate to win girls over. Intrigued, Sid agrees to go along with them. Iris presents an artifact they found in the cult's hideout, but they are unable to decipher it. She turns to Sherry Barnett, the kingdom's most brilliant mind, for help. Her father, Lutheran, supports her and Sherry agrees to decipher it. To ensure their safety, Iris assigns the Crimson Order, a small but trusted knight order, to keep watch over them. Alexia also wants to help, and Iris agrees to her offer. Sid, Skell, and Poe head to the store, but the long line forces them to wait 80 minutes. Meanwhile, Poe worries about the killer rumored to be roaming the area at night. Suddenly, a worker asks Sid to answer a survey, leading him inside the store where he feels as though he's stepped into a department store from his old world. In the throne room, Sid discovers that Gamma, the smartest among the girls, runs the store. After falling down the stairs, she invites Sid to sit on the throne and rewards him with a display of fireworks. Gamma reveals she has several franchises and 1 million Zenai at her disposal. She also mentions the killer from Shadow Garden and introduces Sid to Nu, the newest member of the Numbers. Sid agrees to call her if he needs her and requests 3 chocolates, but Gamma offers him the highest quality for free. As they laugh and chat, Sid steals 1 coin. Sid and his friends hasten their journey home as Sid surmises that Alexia has gone berserk and started killing people. Upon hearing a commotion, Sid instructs his friends to go ahead as he needs to use the bathroom. Skell and Poe admire Sid's bravery and vow to keep his secret. Sid then heads to the back alley where he hears Alexia fighting with some men claiming to be from Shadow Garden. Despite being overpowered, Sid steps in as Shadow and kills one of the attackers. He warns the others that they will pay for impersonating Shadow Garden and follows them, killing another one. Nu arrives and applauds Shadow's swift action, requesting he leave the rest to her as she needs information from the remaining man. Shadow agrees and departs as Nu disarms the man and warns him she's not as merciful as Shadow. Meanwhile, a man informs a knight that they have lost contact with the puppet and 2 other men, but the knight reassures him as they have located the item they were searching for and prioritize its retrieval. As Alexia and Iris discuss the situation, Alexia reveals that the killer was impersonating Shadow Garden. She explains that Shadow Garden is currently fighting against the cult. Iris ponders the possibility of learning more about the situation once the artifact is deciphered. Alexia then poses the question to Iris, who she thinks the real enemy is, Shadow Garden or the cult. Iris declares that both are enemies and that she won't let either wreak havoc in the kingdom. The next day, on the train to school, rumors are circulating that Sid had an embarrassing incident. Skell and Poe, nervous and on the edge, ask Sid if he got the chocolate they had given him the day before. At school, Skell tries to give chocolate to an upper-class woman, but her fiancé catches him in the act. Poe declares that he won't make the same mistake and that he's researched the girl he plans on giving chocolate to. However, when he approaches her, she recognizes him as her stalker and starts shouting. Sid decides to end his background story by giving his chocolate to the first girl he sees. He ends up sitting next to Sherry and gives her the chocolate, quickly leaving the situation behind. Sherry instantly recognizes Sid from their previous encounter. Puzzled, she inspects the chocolate in her room. Her father walks in and identifies it as a popular treat. Sherry mentions that a boy gave it to her, and her father assumes it's a love gesture. He ponders what her response will be and emphasizes the importance of social skills along with education. He begins to cough, but reassures her that he's been feeling better and is grateful for having such a loving daughter. Sherry, in turn, expresses her gratitude for being adopted by him. What a wholesome way to end episode 6. Will Sherry continue to grow closer to Sid? Will Sid have a harem on his hands soon? Find out next time on our recap of the Eminence in Shadow.